Hi everybody, it's Beth from Beth King Design. Happy New Year. I hope you all are doing good and had just a wonderful holiday season this year. I know I did. I had a great time and I got some wonderful new toys to play with up here in the studio. So I'm really anxious to get started on a few things. I am trying a few different things this year. That was kind of a goal of mine, is to do a few different things just other than the acrylic pours. And I came across a reel on Facebook of a little girl. She was probably 5 years old, and she did this beautiful painting of a silhouette ballerina with sort of a night sky behind it. And I thought it was just beautiful. So I tried it, and it came out okay. I'll show you a picture of that here in just a second. But others have asked me about it, so I'm going to do a video and see if I can recreate the little girl's idea as well as the one that I did. And again, I'm not taking any credit for this. Watched her reel, 90 seconds, and was able to do this. So I wanted to show you because I think it's going to be pretty easy for you to do at home, and I think you'll have fun doing it. So hang on and we'll get started. All right, so this was the idea that I got off the reels on Facebook, and basically it's like a night sky that you paint on first, and it goes gradual dark to lighter. You have to let that dry, and then you put some other dark on the bottom and try to make it look like grass. And then I used a stencil to stencil on the ballerina, and then I just added a few embellishments. So I really liked it. I thought it came out really good. I framed it. I think it looks beautiful. So I'm going to show you how I did it, and hopefully you can take a try at it too. All right, so let's get started here. I'm going to show you just a few of the things that you're going to need for the project today. This is an 11 by 14 canvas. You can use any size you want. We'll just have to scale your paint and the drawing to the size of the canvas. But I'm using an 11 by 14. You're going to need at least, I would say, 3, maybe 4 colors of blue, going from light to dark. You're going to need a little bit of white paint. I already had this mixed up, so I'm using that, and then a little bit of black paint. Also, some sort of brush. I like to use the ones with the bristles just because I do like brush marks on this one. I don't know why, but if you want to use, if all you have is these little sponge ones, you can use that too, no problem. And then the other thing that I'm using on this is, this is just an image off of Google. I Googled ballerina dancing images or silhouettes, and I got a ton of different images, and I downloaded a couple, and this was one that I really liked. So I'm going to use this one on this canvas. I'm going to use it as a stencil, so I am going to have to cut out around it, and I just did it on paper, and I've tried this before and it did work on my other ones. So basically this is the hardest part of the whole thing. If you don't want to bother with this, you can order stencils online. It's just, they're expensive, and so I wanted to try to do it myself. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out, and then we'll get started with the paint. Okay, I'm just using one of these little craft cutting things. I don't know what they're called. And I'm just going to cut around all the edges and then use this as the stencil for the painting. All right, so we've got the stencil all cut out. We're going to use that later. So we're going to go ahead and just get the paint going here. So like I said, we're going to do dark, medium, light. Then we're going to put some white on the bottom here to help us mix a little bit too. And eventually we're going to put black on the bottom. So I'm just going to start with the darkest blue that I have, and hopefully I have enough left here. And you just basically splotch it on. Give yourself a good amount. And this is just acrylic craft paint from Hobby Lobby. All right, there's that one. Then I'm going to go with this one. Okay, then I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to do 4 just because my canvas is a little bit bigger. All right, and then I mixed up my own sort of lighter blue because I didn't have one. So I just mixed in some of this blue with some white. So I'm gonna just put a little bit of that down here. And white I'm gonna wait on. Okay, so I'm gonna use my bristle brush. Like I said, you can use one of these as well, but this is a really easy part. Basically, you just start spreading it around like this. Get the sides, get the edges. So this is your dark blue part, and you're gonna go right down into your other blue, and don't worry about putting them together. That's what you want to happen here. Okay, down into all of them. Look how pretty that is. Go ahead and go back and forth. You can go up a little higher if you want with some of that lighter blue. Some of mine has some globs in it, so I'm just trying to get that out. Here's this one. So I'm trying to make this like a night sky. I mean, I suppose you could make this like a water scene too, because it does look kind of like water. Okay, go along the edges. All right, so I'm going to put the white on down here too, just a little. I'm going to use the same brush, don't have to wipe it out, because you kind of want it to mix in a little bit. If you want some of the white up in there, even up here a little bit, don't be afraid to do it. Okay, I'm liking that. I like the sky look. Gets darker as it goes up, and we've kind of got a nice line here, so I don't want to mess with that too much. There, all right, that looks good. All right, the other thing I want to do on this, and I am going to wipe my brush off on this part, is I want to splatter some white in the sky to kind of look like stars, because I want this to be an evening look to it. And you just kind of flick it a little bit to see if we can, there's some. You don't want really big globs. So you just sort of flick the paint off a little. I think that looks good. All right, we're gonna have to let this dry a little bit. And then I'm gonna put on the black part on the bottom, but I wanna let this dry just a bit so it doesn't get so mixed together. Okay, here's our canvas. It dried overnight, and we're just gonna put the base part on now, like the ground and the grass part. And then we are gonna have to let that dry a little bit before we do the stenciling. But I'm gonna use this little more coarse brush to just put on the black part on the bottom, and hopefully it will look like grass. So we'll see. So just easily smooth it on there. I'm not gonna go real high on the canvas, but I'm just gonna put it here on the bottom and get the edges too. And then just start going up a little to try to make it look like grass. I think that looks really cool. This brush does a really nice job with that. It doesn't take much to just get some nice little pieces like grass. And I wouldn't overdo it too much, so I think I'm gonna leave it at that. All right, we're gonna let that dry just a little bit, and then we'll put the stencil on. Okay, so here we are. If you recall, so this got dry, and so I was able to put the stencil down. And if you recall in one of the little bit previous when I cut out the stencil, I don't know if you remember, but the pictures went right off the page, and so it ended up in two pieces. So we're gonna try it, see if it works. I taped it all down, and I think I'm just gonna give myself a little leeway on these to just freehand it when I take this off. So basically, you're just dabbing it in the paint. You don't need a whole lot on there. Okay, and you just start, hold it down as you go, but just press firmly. Try not to slide it across, just down so it doesn't seep underneath, and hold it as you go. We will have to do a little bit of cleanup work and at the end here, but we can try to keep it as crisp as possible on those edges. It'll look really nice. And if you don't like the textured look like this is giving, when you take this off, you can always go over it with a brush to put brush strokes in it if you want. So I'm just going to take off, I can get these, take off all these, the tape. There we go, that looks good. I'll get that other tape off in a minute, but let's get this off of here so we don't have any other bleed through. Okay, try not to drag that. I'm trying not to drag it through the other paint. These we cannot reuse, so I'm just going to throw that stencil away. I have to tell you, I am really pleased with this, because the last one I did, when I tried to paint on it, it bled through the stencil and really looked bad. I tried hard to clean it up, but I couldn't do a very good job. So I'm gonna let this sit for just a minute, and then I will touch it up a bit on the edges, but it's looking very, very good. So I'm really happy with that. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little bit of the touch-up work. Actually, this looks really great, and I'm really happy about it, so I don't think I'm going to have to do too much. But I am going to try to go around the edges here just a little bit where, I don't know if you can see it, where it kind of bled or it didn't cover real well. So I'm going to try to do that. If there's some spots of blue kind of seeping through, I'm going to cover that pretty well too. And I'm going to try hard not to get my head down in the camera. I did this before, and all you could see was my gray hair in the camera. I don't want to show you that. So I'm just going very gently along the edges here where it's a little bit rough, and just trying to get a nice smooth line here. All right, so I'm just going to go along and do this. I'm going to try to do the hands and the foot also, and then I'll show you the finish here, and then we're going to be embellishing this a little with some extra little embellishments that I think are really pretty. Okay, this is nice and dry. I touched it up, so I think it looks really good. I just would like to put just a little bit of embellishment on just to give it a little more texture. You can leave it plain just like that. I think it's beautiful like that too. But I'm gonna go ahead and put some little feathers on for the tutu. And I just bought, honestly, I just bought a bag of these feathers from Hobby Lobby, and found ones that had these little ones on the back. So I don't want to cover like the whole thing, but just put a little bit on there. So I'm just going to use this diamond glazed glue and just really put a little bit on the end of this. Ooh, oops. And then tack it on there. Maybe. I kind of want to be able to see her waist because it's so pretty. Very nice and thin. Put that on. I'll stick all those on there. I think that's really pretty. Just adds a nice little dimension of texture and a little bit of flow to the painting. And then I'm gonna cover this part just with some beads, just this part here, like around her waist. And these honestly are beads that, I don't know, I bought and I couldn't use for anything. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put some glue on here and then place the beads just right around her waist. right, then I'm just gonna move them in. You can do a few at a time if you want. Just get them all in there so they're kind of covering the glue. And make a nice line like around her waist. We're just gonna put them in there. Adds a nice little sparkle. Covers up a little bit of the raw edge of the feathers. So it gives it a nice little finish there on the end. There, I think that looks good. I don't think I need any more. Beautiful. So that's it. We are done. Just let that dry. I'll probably frame this one too. I had a frame before that I just painted black and put around it. So I kind of like them framed. You don't have to. A lot of people just like the canvas look. But I think that was pretty easy. So I think you can do it. Just give it a try. I mean, it can't hurt. You can buy really cheap canvases, go to dollar store and get a canvas. And just try doing the colors first. If you don't want to tackle the stencil right away, just do the colors first and see if you can get a look like that or something similar to what you would like. So thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, please like to my channel because I will be doing a lot more of these DIY sort of beginner type projects because I'm still a beginner too. So I'm going to put a few more of these on my YouTube channel. So please subscribe and thanks so much for watching. Have a great day, everyone. Bye for now.